Hi guys, it's Debbie, and today I would like to give a full explanation of A Cure for Wellness directed by Gore Verbinski. There will be spoilers ahead, so I would strongly recommend not watching this video if you haven't seen the film. Now, the story for A Cure for Wellness begins back in the 1800s in Switzerland with a baron that was so obsessed with having a pure blood heir that he decided to marry his own sister. But the baron's sister was infertile, so he started conducting terrible experiments on the local villagers, trying to find a cure to her infertility and killing many innocent people in the process. When the baron's sister eventually conceived a child, the enraged villagers burnt down his castle and forced an abortion upon the woman. But the baby and the baron both survived this incident. The baron actually then built a wellness centre upon the ruins of the castle where he planned to continue his insane experiments. His plan was to attempt again at having a pure blood child. So through his experiments he tried to create a substance which would allow himself and his daughter to live longer. When his daughter would then be physically able to carry a child, he would rape her. The baron actually managed to create a sort of elixir for longer life using substances contained in a particular species of eel which lived close to the wellness centre and which had an astonishingly long lifespan. But the baron needed some new test subjects, some new victims. So up until the 21st century he greeted numerous rich clients in this so-called wellness centre under the alias of Kind Dr. Vollmer. His clients were mostly older, rich people which wouldn't mind not having access to the internet or telephones during their stay, wouldn't question the nature of their treatments or complain or be suspicious about the outdated structure. On the contrary, many of them were probably unsatisfied people in an over-medicated world which were searching for a cure for nothing, just to escape from their stressful routine. So as the title says, a cure for wellness. Nearly all the treatments at the wellness centre included drinking lots of water and attend many sessions of therapy in water. The patients believed that this water was detoxing their system, curing them, but in reality it contained toxic substances. Also, the water contained microscopic eels which the patients would ingest, preparing their body for the final stage of the treatment, in which their intestines would be flooded with the eels. The patient's body acted as a sort of filter for the eels, extracting the elements that give them their long lifespan. The bodily secretions of the victims would then be collected into blue bottles and ingested by Dr. Vollmer, Hannah, and probably also by the staff at the wellness centre and other characters in the film, for example, members of the police. As a matter of fact, if we look closely, Hannah, Dr. Vollmer, and the staff of the wellness centre don't drink water. At dinner we see the doctors having glasses of wine. Hannah points out that she doesn't attend the water therapy sessions, and so on. Also, when Lockhart tastes this liquid, he points out that it tastes like sweaty fish. When Lockhart arrives at the wellness centre looking for Mr. Pembroke, he is also offered a glass of toxic water, which immediately brings on heavy hallucinations. Also, the doctors take advantage of a car accident to fool Lockhart into thinking he had broken a leg in order to avoid him standing in the way of their experiments and to eventually use him as a patient, as a victim. But Lockhart doesn't stop his investigations and tries to uncover the insane experiments going on at the wellness centre while trying to distinguish between reality and his hallucinations. For example, he sees eels everywhere, he imagines his teeth are falling out, and so on. Towards the end of the film, Lockhart is so intoxicated by the substances in the water that he starts to become submissive to the treatments, and he starts to admit to himself that he might be ill, that he might need to be cured. Also, the actual concept of water might weigh him down more than other patients because of some psychological traumas from his childhood, such as directly witnessing his father committing suicide off a bridge in a torrential rainstorm. The patient's irrational thoughts and hallucinations also allow Dr. Vollmer to freely walk around the wellness centre without noticing anything unusual in his features, because Dr. Vollmer, so the Baron, is nearly 200 years old and he wears masks made of human skin to cover his disfigured face. But the patients are so intoxicated by the water that they don't realise this. Actually, most of the scenes that we see and don't understand are all a jumble of misleading and grotesque shots which are made to enhance this feeling of uneasiness. So we have eel-infested toilets, masturbating nurses, jars full of rotten teeth, anaesthesia-free dental surgery, and all of this matched with an incessant lullaby as a background music. So while all the patients and progressively Lockhart are kept submissive at the wellness centre, Hannah's visit to the town and her exposure to the adult world sort of triggers her growth, and she has her first period. Basically, Volmer had tried to keep Hannah inside a glass cage, and by denying her access to the outside world, by feeding her this elixir for longer life, and because of her childhood traumas, she was stuck in the body and the mind of a child. So when Dr. Volmer realizes she is now an adult, she is ready to carry a child, he prepares to rape her and have his pure blood hair. Luckily, Lockhart has one last moment of sanity, realizing that his leg was never broken in the first place, and all his rational thoughts come flooding back into his mind. He saves Hannah and they both escape while accidentally setting the whole castle on fire. In the closing scene of the film, we see Lockhart quitting his job as he no longer wants to lead a greedy existence made of lies, money and competition. Let me know what you thought about A Cure for Wellness with a comment here below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for many more movie related videos. See you soon, bye!